Guys, I got some new tires for the Jeep and they are big. 37's, and I don't have the Rubicon axles in yet, so it's gonna be a challenge. Probably make this Jeep a dog for a short time until I get the Rubicon axles in, because it still just has stock gearing in it. Rubicon axles had 410s. But I like them. They are used, but they have a lot of tread. And they come with the AEV Pentler wheels, which will replace those stock wheels and look a lot better. They are significantly taller than my wore out 35s. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I go over here, you can see that better. We're gonna put them on and see how much better the Jeep looks. So I don't know if I need to keep the spacers or ditch the spacers. I don't know exactly what the back spacing is on these Pentlers, so I may have to measure this real quick and see if I need the spacers. So guys, I'm leaving the spacer. It doesn't poke it out too much further. There's an inch more back spacing, or less back spacing? Is it more or less?
There is.
One is called back spacing, one's called less. One of them is the distance between the center of the rim, offset. That's offset. And then one is back spacing, which is distance from the back of the rim. So these have an inch more back spacing, less back spacing, which pushes it out a little bit further, but you can kind of see down through there, it's really not noticeable. You gotta watch out with these little narrow fender flares on what that looks like. I don't know if it comes through on camera, but that makes a difference. I'm glad I left the spacers on. It's just wide enough, but it's still sucked in pretty good. It's not all bullfrogged out. I hate that bullfrog look. Guys, now that the 37s are mounted, I'm really loving the look of my Jeep. But the rear end leaves much to be desired. I don't have an aftermarket bumper, so obviously we're gonna have to do something with the spare. I'm just not gonna run a spare for a while. But this is pretty ugly. So we're gonna try to fix that. We're gonna try to clean up the rear end to match these real nice tail lights I've got now, and see if we can make it look a little crisper. First things first, I took off the tire carrier, obviously. Now I gotta get ready to put that plate on there, which is also gonna house my license plate, so that means this has to be removed. And I've only ever removed the TJ one, so let's see if it's similar. And it looks like we've got a couple of, what is that, maybe 8mm. Actually, this piece of plastic may pop off. There may be more back there. Looks like there's the connector right here for the light that we have to deal with. Guess I should have brought a flat tip. All right, let me go get a flat tip so I can take those two out and pop that cover off. Once those two come out, this whole thing kind of pops off. I don't think you even need to pull this off, but it does. You do have to unclip the electrical connector from right here. And might help if I got my hand back there. You can see how you just pull that little clip out and then it pulls loose. All right, once you get it loose, it just pulls loose with that little push tab. Nope, two more little 7mm screws. All right, so there's 4 total 7mm screws. All right, guys, once you get this off, you'll have your pigtail there. I don't think when I wire up my third brake light and the new tag light, I'm gonna have to use this tag light. I think all of it will work off the third brake light wire. It's just a really small LED, so it doesn't pull that much juice as opposed to these incandescents that I'm taking out. So let's just see right now. I'm just gonna tuck that back in. And now we've got a hole there we need to fill. That's what she said. Guys, here's my solution for that. I just went and got a little bottle opener. You can buy these on Amazon or Walmart.com or anywhere really. It comes with, they come in, this is actually stainless or aluminum or something. Either way, I scuffed it up and painted it black to match the Jeep. It came with stainless hardware, but I'm sure using those black screws since they're black and everything else is black. And so that'll cover that. Pretty cool, I guess. And you can orientate it however you want, whether you want to pull up on the bottle or push down on the bottle. I've got it where you push down on the bottle. All right, now I can do this one of two ways. I can pull this back through and pull it through here, kind of hide this because it'll have a little wire right there, and it might make this plate bulge out a little bit, which is probably what I'm going to do, but that means I have to access the back side of the tailgate. which should be able to be accessed from this plate right here. All right, let me crawl on this without breaking it. Just pops out with body clips. And yes, now I should be able to pull this rubber grommet out and get that back through. Yep. I may have to cut this mesh out. And I'll be wiring, interesting. We'll see what I'm gonna do here. I'd like to use the stock plug if I can. We'll see if I can. So if you don't want to ruin this grommet, just cut the back of it off, and you can cut that little plastic piece out of the grommet. Now the grommet's still usable, or you can buy you a little $3 grommet to go in there. I'm going to reuse the grommet. You can't reuse this plug, I realized, because the other side of the plug plugs directly into the old light. So, oh well. So I'll just go ahead and cut that plug off and save it, just in case I need it later, and we'll just go ahead and give her a snip. All right, so this is actually the little plastic piece you'll have to pull out to get to everything. Now I should be able to get my hand in there enough to fish it through. That'll look good. Maybe someone will have a more elegant solution, but this is kind of what we had to come up with. This is actually, you can see the rivets here. There's a wall right here, so you can't go from here to there. Probably cut that plastic piece off and just loom that. You'll never see it with my black tailgate. If I had a colored tailgate, it might be a little bit different. I could have ran it out here, but under there, taped with some loom, looks fine. I'm outside here. As I was messing with this rubber gasket just crumbled into pieces. So I think what I'll do is probably silicone that tight so that it doesn't rattle. I'm not worried about it, but it's gonna rattle. All right, guys, let's go over the plate that I bought. I did buy a China plate, VJ. Either way, you know, it was super affordable. It had the features I want, which was a tag light, an LED backup light, and it had this raised section for the vent. It did come with a red plate to make this a red flag, completely red flag, which is kind of weird, but I'm gonna leave that off so that it works as a vent, and the tag will be on it, kind of covering all that up. This light did come with this trim plate, and it just clips off. I was gonna paint it black, but I'm just taking it off completely. It'll be fine. It's just 2-wire LED. People complain about the size of the wiring. I mean, it's a super cheap, really small LED. I don't know how big a wiring people think it should have. The only other challenge this plate has is you do have to take it off to put the tag on and off, because it doesn't have welded on nuts on the backside. I could weld it on. I don't care. Once I get the plate on, it's not coming off unless I sell it. I did go ahead and put clear coat over this cheap China, I guess it's a powder coating, I don't know. Either way, it's like a texture paint. It's pretty cheap. I've had it on other pieces I bought, and it tends to flake a little bit. So if you live up north, I put a layer of clear coat over it, and it does give it an extra shine, which is nice. I didn't put it on the back, which you can see the back's a little bit duller. Maybe you can see that on camera. But yeah, that's it. I guess I'll prop this thing up. We'll go and put the tag on it, kind of prop it up and get it wired in, and we'll see if the lights work. If not, you know, I'll have to pull this wire all the way back over to here and through this loom. I'm not even wanting to do that, so I'm hoping this works. All right, I've got that siliconed in. It's looking pretty good. I'm having to wire in the tag light to the parking lamp, and there's just no good way to do it. So I'm coming from this side, since this is where the wiring harness comes in. Problem is, there's no way unless you drill a hole to go from here inside the cab, except for this grommet up here. And so I've wired into a positive down here. So I know it's black, but I didn't have a red, so I put red heat shrink on it. And now I've got hot here. Now I can fish it through, hopefully some way, down through here, and then down through here, And what I'll do is I'll wire that'll be my hot for the LED. The ground will go into the same ground as the brake lights because it should be a constant ground. Let's see if I can get that done. This part's a lot more involved. If I weren't worried about a tag light, it'd already be done a long time ago. All right, guys, I've got this hot wire ran. A little trim piece back in. The astute observer will see that I've already removed my hinge or my limiting strap. That's been removed for a while. It has nothing to do with this process. So this is all wired up now. I'm confident I can put that trim piece back up. Clip that in there. Give it a boop. Oh no. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Now, other than just taping this up and getting that invisible, that's done. Let's make sure I'm still getting 12 volts. I am. So I got a hot wire for my tag light. Let me go turn the parking lamps off and make sure that that thing does not still carry 12 volts. But I don't want a light that stays on all the time. Nothing? Good. All right, so brake lights work. Tag light works. Everything is hooked together. I did forget to put some extra shrink wrap on that connection, but I did just what I said. I was going to have I ran all the grounds together, and then I ran that extra power cable for the tag light. So it's all just wired up. If you know anything about wiring, it's pretty simple. Now we're going to mount it. This is curing, so that's good. What you think, buddy?
Good.
Yeah? Guys, I'm not a smart man, but you know, I didn't think I was this dumb. So there's little holes down through there, and the wires have to go through those holes, or else they're just going to get crushed against the body from that seam right there. I don't even know why that seam's there, but I've got to disconnect all those wires and run through those 3 holes. Right, 1, 2, 3. I'm dumb. All right, so I redid the wiring the same way I did it, only this time I put it through the holes you're supposed to. Packed it all in there, and here you go. I put the screws back in, the bolts back in. I probably should have painted those bolt heads black because you can see that a little bit, but it's okay. So that is, and we'll take a better look here in a minute, but that is a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. Still got some lines to buff out, and pretty awesome, pretty clean. Everything works. I like not having that chrome around the bezel here. I need to get some black button head bolts to replace those. We got one more thing to do to the Jeep to get her to where she needs to be. All right, so one last thing we're going to do two last things we're going to do to spiff up the Jeep. These tires and wheels look really good. They're really dirty, so we got to clean them. And we got to get rid of those chrome lug nuts. All right, buddy, what we got there?
We got some bolts and everything.
Are those lug nuts?
Yep.
Black ones? Let me see them. So we got these from Auto PTM, Auto PTM? I don't know. They're pretty good quality though. The ones I put on so far, we've hammered them down and they haven't scuffed or anything. Ain't that right, buddy?
Yes. Good job.
Thank you. Hey, I said these 37s don't hit on this 2.5-inch lift. They do. I've dented in the side of the Jeep right there, so that's not good. So I am going to have to go up. I'll probably go up 3/4 of an inch just with some isolators on top of the springs. If not, I'll have to trim that or something. I don't want to go up much higher. I like how the Jeep sits. All right, buddy, you ready? Pull the trigger. All right, good job.
Yes, sir.
Go for it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Too hard. Sorry. Let's do that again. I'll hold it. There we go. A little bit more. All right.
Yeah.
All right, go for it. Good job. A little more. All right. All right. Let's go find the other black one. There's really only one thing left to do. I need to get the free advertisement off the back, and let's wash it and see what she finally looks like. All right, guys, that's quite a transformation. Let's look at a before and after photo. All right, that looks like a totally different Jeep. It drives fine with the stock gearing. I do have some 410 Rubicon axles to go in it, so I'm still working on that. But it is a completely different Jeep. So if you have a JK and you're just debating 37s, you just think they're too big, honestly, they're not. It depends on what tires you have. Good 35s, I had those crappy MTRs. Good 35s is a completely different situation. But these are good 37s, so it just changes the look of the Jeep. Guys, if this helps you make a decision on if you want 37s or not, then hit the like and the share and the subscribe and the other stuff and the things, and I'll see y'all later.